denied her. This is the dawning of the new day where the rooster crowed. And the Father has denied her through all of the three monotheistic doctrines. Though she has been present the whole time, he has written her out of the Old Testament, and he turned her into a ghost in the New Testament, and he has totally subjugated her and completely veiled her in the Quran. 3 times before the rooster crow. The truth gonna come out, and we gonna know that the queen of heaven and earth is only one. So I don't care which one of you roosters want to crow, I'm gonna set the record straight. So the punishment came in the holy drama, which is the War Horse and Set. It is a court case. It's an adjudication. That's what it is. It is a resolution of a transgression. Now notice you see in the story, there's Osiris, Isis, and Horus, the father, the mother, and the son. Now, in Sumeria, in Babylon, you had Anu, Enki, and Enlil. So you have 2 different families, right? Now, because of smear campaign, a lot of people believe that Enki is Osiris. He not. Some people believe Enlil is Osiris. He not. And some people believe that Anu is Osiris. He not. Osiris was here before all of them. Horus and Osiris was here before all of them. Isis was here before all of them, though she is associated with them. She's associated, but she was here before them. Now, when you go back into the earlier ones, you find that Ea, which we call Enki, overthrew one called Ilia. And this particular one became known as Samael. And so they tell you that the son of the mother is the son of Samael, because he was sent here first, and they tried to falsely accuse her of sleeping with him and call her a harlot, which is false. None of that's true. He's not the son of Samael. And because of that, they villainized Samael, but Samael did never come here with malice. He never came here with malice. And he was sent away because the compassion that he felt for the feminine earth. Now, I'm not talking about the women. He actually had a physical connection to Mother Earth, and he was so in love with this planet, he wouldn't allow them to destroy it. He wouldn't even allow them to mine for the gold that he discovered, because he had made an agreement with Mother Earth that no man should break the earth without first giving the just sacrifice or of himself. In other words, no man should come in unto a woman without first proving himself worthy, is what he was saying. So they write it in the story as the man being the tiller of the ground, but they never tell you that he's not to till the ground without the permission. And this is why they got to teach you what they call the art of husbandry. Husbandry has nothing to do with a marriage. Husbandry is about maintaining the land. It's about keeping the balance. So when a woman's really craving a husband, she's not craving a consort. She's craving somebody that can help her to keep the land in balance, to keep the predators away from the prey animals, or to keep the children safe to go to school away from those reptilian sociopaths that like to eat babies and rape babies. This is what she's really looking for. And he ain't proving himself worthy, so she goes into a state of delirium. Is there anybody that can protect us? Is there anybody that can free us from this suffering? And so when we look at the whole picture, we end up with Constantine commissioning what they call the Nicene Council. In this council, they commissioned the Pope. This is where the Pope was put in power in 325. Now look at how long there was Christians. before the Pope. The Pope was not put into office. There was no papacy before 325. Who ran the church? Who ran the church under Origen? Who ran the church under Thomas Aquinas? Oh no, he was later on. It was what was his name? There was a guy back then named Thomas, the Gospel of Thomas, and it was Gospel of Thomas was between the so-called crucifixion and the writing of the Revelations. Read the Gospel of Thomas, the one they called a doubter. Read the Gospel of Judas, the one they called a betrayer. Read the Gospel of Mary of Magdala, the one they called a harlot in error. Mary of Magdala was actually a very, very powerful woman. And her sister Martha was a very, very powerful woman. So they tell you that she was a harlot. Tell them to show it to you and don't tell it to you. Tell them to show it to you and don't tell them to show you anything that Mary Magdalene done that would earn her the title of harlot anywhere. Now, they going to take you to a woman that everybody was about to stone for being a prostitute or adulteress. That's not Mary Magdalene, and that story doesn't even say that it's Mary Magdalene. It's an entirely different woman. But Mary of Magdalene, or Mary Magdala, is the woman in which they said that the Christ loved dearly. Now, notice that. The Son of Man loved this woman dearly, but the church don't like her. How much sense do that make? Are y'all doing y'all math on this? Now, the Christ or the Son of Man loved this woman dearly, but the church says she's a harlot. Where's they getting it from? Tell them to show it to you. Okay? So now, when you see them in the Old Testament, all of these so-called disciples disappear. There's nobody there with the Son except 3 women. Mary the mother, Mary of Magdala, and Martha. The 3 sisters. The 3 sisters, who are they? The 3-phase moon, who are they? So, if we're looking at the whole story, we'll know. Aiwass, going back to the tree, had to first be removed because Aiwass was the tree of eternal knowledge, the knowledge of the forever time. They had to cut that tree down. Credo Mutu, I could tell you. They cut Aiwass down, it was in South Africa. All right? When they did that, that's when they tied you to the silver cord. Because by tying you to the silver cord, it traps you in the loop. It traps you in the loop of reincarnation. In order to prevent you from turning on your inner light, that little sliver of gold in your heart chakra that'll light up your whole body with the love of the divine. In order to prevent that, they created something called the black goo. Now, you see it in pop fiction as Venom on Spider-Man. You see it as Venom. But Venom don't take over your whole body just in case it's the heart chakra. And this is how it works. The 3rd dimension moves into the 4th dimension in spiral fashion. But nobody is talking about ascending to the 4th dimension. Why? Because, as I said earlier, the 4th dimension was collapsed in on the 3rd, which is 444 hertz, being drawn down into the 300 hertz range, right? So our next level up is actually the 5th dimension. And in order to get to the 5th dimension, we have to understand where we are now. So they had to chop that tree down in order to keep the 4th dimension within inside the 3-dimensional framework. So now you got what you know as astral projection and astral travel. This is because the 4th dimension is so tightly entwined now with the 3rd dimension that the lines are blurred. You can leave your physical form and walk around astrally in the 4th dimension. But you have a seal, what they call the circle of no pass. And this is the barrier between 4th and 5th. And the only way to get to the 5th is the energy of enough people have to start separating the energy of the 4th dimension from the energy of the 3rd dimension that's locked together. Now, what they want to do next, And I gotta warn y'all about this because it's gonna be the worst thing y'all could possibly have happen. They want to explode the particle accelerator in CERN while it's in the middle of opening up a fifth dimension portal. If it opens the fifth dimension portal and they explode it, it sucks 5 dimensions into the third. That's not as good as it might sound. You don't want higher dimensions collapsing on lower dimensions. You don't want that. And this is the goal of CERN. And this is why they have Kali in front of it, because they know that if they don't get it done before she get back, she's going to tear their ass up for doing it. They already know this. So they want to mislead you and have you thinking that Kali on board with this destruction that they're trying to do. This is Enlil's people trying to prevent the women from reclaiming Earth and from reestablishing the balance of Mach, which will have humans not raping babies and not eating babies and not having a man seeing another man talking about how sexy he is. That's not normal. That's not human. That's reptilian. Enlil started it. Enlil started it. Enki ain't on board with none of that stuff, but he's outranked by Enlil. Now, being that I got seat number 50, I outrank both of them. I outrank both of them. So basically, that means that the inmates got the asylum and that we're going to run it in a manner that's in the best interest of all of us and not just some of us. And that we're not going to do this divide and conquer now. We're going to do this unity situation where we live like humans supposed to live before the war between the Babylonians and the Kemetic gods. So what they was telling you all this time, they only was telling you bits and pieces of the truth, but they was telling you everything, but they was breaking it up in a manner to confuse you. And as long as you stay confused, you could never put all of the pieces together. Black people agreed to this for one reason. Mama said, nobody can be thrown away. No human. Nothing that can receive the love of divine. Nothing that can receive the impressions of Creator. That can become sentient. That has the capacity to think, feel, love, and be loved. Should be thrown away like trash. Like they did those people. And in order for her to get it through to everybody on this planet for future generations to come, that we record this and that the black people that suffered it stand to bear witness of the suffering and the pain of the suffering, that we remember how them Babylonians done those people and how those ruler gods obsessed with subjugating women subjugated an entire planet and took everybody out of the element of humanity and taught us to live like other than what we were and taught us to hate each other. And they taught us to kill each other and to eat each other. Half of us don't know that a lot of the food that we get in these supermarkets is actual human meat. They're telling us it's everything but what it is, especially the ground meat. We eating each other. And as long as they got us eating this type of diet, it's going to keep us at the lowest possible vibration. Humans did not eat vegetables. Humans did not eat meat. Humans ate platinum group metals in monoatomic form. And this is why you have 40-day fasting. The 40-day fast is a prep for you to be able to assimilate the amount of energy that your body will be incorporating as a fourth dimensional being. Once you hit the fourth dimension, the brakes is off. Once the brakes is off, you're an X-Man. Y'all the most powerful, especially these women. And I can't warn y'all enough. Y'all can't lay with everybody. Y'all going to be sending people into strokes. They're going to be having comas and y'all not going to know what's happening. If you do not know how to control your energy, if you do not know what I'm talking about as a woman, you and that man you messing with is in a lot of trouble. You're not in any, like, condemnation type trouble. You're going to be in the trouble of grieving because you're going to be doing a whole lot of it trying to facilitate guys just not trying to assist with the cleanup. they won't be able to function. Is what I'm telling you. It's not that you're going to be doing anything wrong. You're going to be doing everything right. It's going to be the problem. But you're going to feel the emotional backlash of him not doing his work on self. Him not carving the edges. Him not using his compass and square to become a worthy man. You're going to overload his circuits. And he's going to be a rain man if he lived through it. He's going to be permanently autistic. So be selective with who you lay with. Know that the energy that you're about to receive is going to be massive, but you're not going to feel much different. But the energy will be there in the portal of life to balance out the scales, where the wicked are going to be put into a place where the wicked are going to learn how to not be wicked. And that only place they can be is in the state where they're forced to see their own misery. All of the misery that they have exerted externally, now they're going to have to watch it internally. Because no matter what they do, they have to answer for it. They have to answer for it. So you'll have a guy, great guy, but he won't get married and he won't mess over no women, and the woman doesn't think something wrong with him. He know. And he don't want the backlash. And he want to be one of the last ones standing, and he want to be worthy. So he'll go the extra mile to take care of his kids, knowing that that reptilian female is not right for him or his child. He'll go the extra mile to give her the opportunity of proving herself worthy. But he already knows she ain't going to make it. She going to condemn herself, but then she going to blame him. She not going to make it. These guys that think they're gods, if they don't know what a god does, need to stop saying it. Because if you're going to proclaim to be something, you need to know what you're proclaiming to be. How does it work? What's the difference in a man and a god? What does a god do that a man doesn't? And I gave a whole thing about, so you say you're a god. And it's not a secret. You can go back and look at the video. But these women are about to get so much power that it won't be safe for a piece of crap dude to lay with one. He gonna be, we call him in the hood, pussy whoop. He gonna be looking for all day long with a flashlight in broad daylight. Can't find it. It's gonna be sad. And some of these women who see a righteous man and they try to milk him for everything he got, he don't care about that money. Just so they know, he don't care about that money. You keep trying to milk him, and he in the back of his mind, he laughing. You don't care about that money because that's passé. That's temporary. What's eternal? The gold and the silver. The tree of knowledge and the tree of life. The gold and the silver within. Not the gold and the silver in your hand. Not the mark of the beast. You ain't talking about, I've been watching everybody trying to unravel this mark of the beast. And you're not going to be able to buy. You're not going to be able to sell unless you got the mark in your hand on your head. It's a goddamn dollar. It's always been the dollar, and it's always going to be the dollar. It's that simple. You either got the dollar in your hand or you thinking about the dollar. The mark of the beast. You can't do nothing righteous without somebody trying to put the dollar in the equation. If you try to do anything righteous, somebody want to put money in the mix. That's the mark of the beast. The grand deception. The great carrot on the stick. You can't worship man and mammon. Both God and mammon. You can't worship both God and mammon. You're going to destroy yourself. And so, in my early entry into the, wearing down from the, must be coming close to an end. But in the sacred halls, one of the first people I met was the person that I was most adamantly against being who they told me he was as Master Fard Muhammad. So he was the first one I met. Before I met Elijah or Malcolm or Garvey, any of them in the sacred halls, they put Master Fard Muhammad before me. He was old and wrinkled up, and I was fucked up. Because he wasn't supposed to be old and wrinkled up according to how they to live. But then he told me, because that was the first thing I want to know. If you God, right, and I'm talking to one they call Master Fard Muhammad, the Sufi mystic, the one that they trying to figure out what happened to him. And I know what happened to him, and I know where he at. I know where the body was, and all that. But I'm not finna get into that because that's not necessary for this video. Mathfar Muhammad told me the reason why he was all wrinkled and aged. He said because he was done with this physical form. He said,
in a vegetative-rich environment, is more likely to have developed to live off vegetation alone. Those are natural vegans.
Right.
But most people don't know how to listen to their body to help them figure out the proper diet for who they are.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Like, and then there's certain stuff like beef was never meant to be a food stock, but bison was.
And why is that?
Saturated versus unsaturated fat.
Right.
The beef is saturated fat, which clogs the brain, and the brain, the oils of the saturated fat turn into the appearance of lard in the brain, and the body try to fight it off, and it creates a buildup of what they call plaque in the brain, which produces